Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the summary for the day of 124 and 125, 27 to 28 of June. And so in case you are still living in the DPA rock, under a DPA rock, I just want to let you know that there is a Rumble account for Defense Politics Asia. There is a very useful function to sync the YouTube channel to Rumble, and everything is transferred over. Pretty much, I think most of the videos I have transferred from the start of the Ukraine war until now. The videos before that, I don't really care about them, so I've moved all of them here. And also, which something that I haven't announced, I have also created an Odyssey account for the Defense Politics Asia, and Odyssey seems to be a much more well-designed place. Feels more competitive to YouTube, and I'm also able to share, previous interviews that I had. One is what I done yesterday with Tommy's podcast. I highly recommend you guys to go and listen to it, and I think you guys will be frightened by what I think. And also, of course, my first interview ever as a member from Defense Politics Asia, with Do It. So I managed to share it here on Odyssey, something that I think YouTube channel cannot do. So you can check them out. However, the focus will still be on YouTube. YouTube still represents the main revenue, so that's why the focus is still on YouTube until YouTube decided to ban Defense Politics Asia for good. Then of course, then we will have to depend on other avenues. So please still continue to watch on YouTube, unless you really hate YouTube. Then yeah, you can try Odyssey and Rumble. So enough of the ranting. Please remember to press the like button. That will help to share this video to new viewers, and it also helps to make it appear on the front page on the existing viewers or people who view the previous videos but never subscribe. So for the 50% of you who never subscribe, please press the subscribe button. The growth of the channel over the past month is pathetic. It's only 50% of the previous month. Maybe there's a new algorithm of shadow banning applied on DPA. I have no idea. So okay, enough of ranting. Now let's start is the summary. So cross-border Shaolin temples. Shaolin monks has attacked Krynivka, Yazhunivka. So Yazhunivka is here, in case you got confused with the Semenivka. So this one is Krynivka, and at Starikove, which is here. So these three locations, and more. There's more Shaolin monks. At Porovska, Verkhnya Pozhenia, as well as Porozhok. So these few locations got shelled over the past 2 days by the Ukrainian forces. By the Russian forces on Ukrainian forces along the border area. So just in case you are new, it's just a joke. Is shelling, artillery or mortar shelling. Because the closed caption like to describe it, translate it as Shaolin, Shaolin temple Shaolin. So that's the joke. Moving on to okay, let's say in terms of missile strike, I did not indicate anything. For those that are very interested in the Kremenchuk shopping mall that it got burned down, which is this one, the Amstor shopping mall. The real target is actually this meshy what do you call this, industrial plant behind it. And videos coming out from this industrial plant shows that the buildings is really utterly destroyed. But then we have a lot of videos, or photos coming out in front of Amstor and showing that the entire thing was caught on a massive fire. And then some And there's also on the aftermath, the actually the entire building is also totally burned down. I just want to add that there is no 1,000 people inside the mall. There isn't 1,000 people. The mall is essentially closed for business over the past 3-4 months since the war started. As you can see, temporarily closed. So even Google Maps shows this very clearly. That is permanently closed. Permanently closed, not permanently. So anyway, and another thing to add, there is more cars on this satellite image than on the actual photos or videos of the scene. So there is totally no 1,000 people there. There's definitely still people injured and killed, because the mall is actually being utilized for other purposes. What kind of purposes? You can speculate. There's also a video of the missile strike on allegedly arms store behind a tree line. So that video, I geolocated the exact location. Is actually, the photo was taken from here, and it's looking towards this direction. There's a tree line here, and then there's a guard house of sort here. So indeed, that missile hits arms store. So I'm not going to deny, say, oh, the Russians did not purposely hit this shopping mall. They actually hit this, and then the explosion caused the arms store to caught fire. That's not my narrative. My narrative is the Russians deliberately hit the shopping mall. However, they see this as a military target. They suspect something else is there, and the massive fire might suggest that might be true, because missile strikes usually, from my understanding, don't seem to cause such a big fire. Usually it's just massive explosion. Things get totally warped and vaporized. Usually it doesn't cause massive fires because it's not an incendiary strike. So, but somehow this entire mall got massively burned down, and the fire was massive, like seriously massive. So, and there's a presence of a lot of soldiers as well. For a city this big, that many soldiers in one location, so far away from the front, you can use your own imagination what I'm thinking. I don't want to add too much speculation on this channel, and I'll probably do that in a different place. So moving on to the Odessa Front. At the Odessa Front, the Ukrainians still continues to try to attack the Snake Island. So according to the pro-Russian sources, there's a multiple rocket launcher attack on the Snake Island, or Zemeny Island, and it was intercepted by the surface-to-air missiles located on the Snake Island. I'm not sure how many launchers or air defense systems is actually on the island. So and then there is this additional information. I put the wrong icon. So coming from pro-Russian sources to kind of explain what is actually happening now at the Snake Island situation. So they say that the armed forces of Ukraine is now operating based on proven tactics against the Russian garrison at the island, because the Ukrainians have been attacking the island for some time already, so they know what to do, and they now using a more organized tactic. Now they at night they use a Bayraktar drone operating just outside of the air defense system to monitor what's happening on the island, and they start to mark targets, for like anti-aircraft systems. Then after that, they will start to use artillery, basically the 155 mm's at their maximum possible range, as well as multiple launch rocket systems to attack the island. But the idea, right, of this attack is not it's not aimed. It's not to hit objects. It's actually just to force air defense unit to spend ammunition on flying projectiles. So because missiles and I'm not sure about rounds, but the rockets, when they are flying around this region, at such a short time period, the Pantsir surface-to-air missiles, they have to act very quickly before they get wiped out themselves. So probably they are using all these rockets as decoys and to waste their ammunition. And this because this is an island, resupply is not easy. So as such, they will waste all the ammunition, and then of course they need to rearm and insert new missiles and rockets into these surface-to-air missiles. Once in the morning, before they can even do that, there will be more targeted strikes happening on this island, and this will also compound because of the Russian troops didn't manage to have a good rest at night, and this entire attack sequence can last for hours. And Bayraktar is visually observing the island all the time, looking at what the Russians are doing and looking for weaknesses within the defense. And also the shelling is reported to be at a very low frequency. They take 30 minutes break for every round of attack, and then so far recently the attack is now intensified to up to 5-minute intervals. So they also explain why it might be 30 minutes, because they say that because the M777 hot whistles are very outdated, it takes a long time to reload. Not sure what that's supposed to mean. I don't think that's a MLRS, so I don't think that's supposed to be correct. But anyway, they say that newer artillery systems are coming, including the British M270 or the Caesar self-propelled guns. So that's why the shelling is increased tremendously. I think this with a pinch of salt. They are just speculating. These are not facts. And the goal is to deprive the garrison of air defense and ammunition. So, and then after this happens, the Ukrainians will be able to launch airborne assault or naval landing, amphibious assault, to land on the island. So first they need to dry up the defenses here so that they can actually do an attack, which actually makes a lot of sense. I think it's a very good tactic, very good strategy there. So take a handful of salt about all this, because this is just their analysis. Moving on to the Mykolaiv Front. At the Mykolaiv Front, there is this fighting reported near Kaselivka, Mykolaiv, and Stanislav. This is based on War Monitor 3, who is actually very pro-Ukrainian, like very, very pro-Ukrainian. So this information about heavy fighting continues. Also, we need to take a bit of a pinch of salt, because when he say fighting at Stanislav, it is definitely not within the city area. It's probably around here. So take this with a pinch of salt. They are definitely not fighting at Kaselivka. It's far away from Kaselivka and probably far away from Mykolaiv. Definitely in the open. So it might not actually even be fighting at these locations. It might actually fighting at the border area. So border area here. There is some rumors about Russian forces capturing Sodatski. I think I want to wait for more confirmation before I actually commit to that. And okay, in the Mykolaiv Front, there is this very kind of a surprise to me from the Russian Defense Ministry. They reported 3 Sukhoi 25 and 1 Mi-8 helicopters of the Ukraine Air Force shot down near Pryvillya, which is Pryvillya here. And there is a lot of air asset getting shot down in one location. So kind of not very convincing, but of course it might actually happen, because you can throw dice for many times and you will get like 3, 6 or consecutively. Eventually you'll get that. So so that is a possibility. So just a surprising number of aircraft getting shot down at the same place. So which also might indicate that there is this attempt to support this attack or fighting at Snihurivka, which is also reported in the same line from War Monitor 3. So let's see whether this offensive will go anywhere. There is some talk about David Bray, but it's very random. I don't really understand what the hell they're talking about. So I kind of ignore it. So nothing there. Other than there is a missile strike actually on troops at Vysunsk and Vysunsk. But for me, I just indicate that there is a Ukrainian position here. I don't really care about the the losses here or the destruction here, because this kind of thing happen everywhere, every day. So it's just a matter of pushing this Ukrainian force territory to Vysunsk. That's all. Moving on to this attack is over. So let me delete this. I reported that. There is no further updates regarding this location. In Kryvyi Rih Front, no obvious fighting is being reported. So moving on to the Zaporizhzhia Line, artillery battle at Vasilivka area. So the Ukrainians and the Russian artillery is playing paper scissors stone. So that's about it. No updates regarding this Novosilka situation. No idea what is the truth. No success, I guess. Nothing of note around Velika Novosilka. Over at the Donetsk Front. At the Donetsk Front, there's update in this Shevchenko, Yahorivka, Palivka area, where we have this parallel universe. This parallel universe is kind of collapsing as the Russian forces have captured Pryvillya. So previously there is this double confirmation from both sides that Pryvillya has been lost to the Ukrainian forces. So the Russian forces have now recaptured this village, and there is also additional information saying that the forces have been pushed back, this by Suryak maps, pushed back to the Zalota Neva Pryvillya line, which is this road line here. So in this piece of intel, they also say that the Russian forces recaptured Shevchenko and Novomysky. For my mapping, I did not feel that the capture of Shevchenko and Novomysky is convincing. So which is why I have never indicated. I only put a question mark like this on the parallel universe situation, but my official mapping is still considered that it's likely that it's still under Russian control. And this so-called recapture actually reconfirmed that these two locations is still under Russian control. So it's definitely not a Ukrainian capture. A real capture probably doesn't get lost so quickly, I guess. But who knows? Pryvillya and the Russians also captured it. So what do I know? So there is also fighting reported near Shevchenko, and so this is the situation. The fighting, let's see, according to this piece of information by AZ military, they say that the area of Shevchenko is now divided in control between the Ukrainians and the Donetsk People's Republic militias. So the village basically doesn't exist anymore. They are just continue fighting around this region, which is why instead of following this Zalota Neva line all the way to Pryvillya, I left this slight salient just north of Shevchenko to indicate that the fighting continues in this area, and that's the situation here now at the western side of Donetsk city. Moving on, I have no information like of any major changes at Avdiivka or New York, all these major fronts in Donetsk. Moving on to Bakhmut Front. So this is Bakhmut city or Bakhmut town. Feels like more like a city. Anyway, at the Bakhmut Front, fighting continues around Semihirja and Kodema area. The Russians are still trying to capture Semihirja to encircle the Ukrainian forces at Vilihiska power plant, as well as Luhansk. That continues to be the prime objective in this area of the battlefront. The capture of Zaitsev doesn't exist. There is still no confirmation of a capture of Zaitsev. So unlike this entered is probably really too early. I shall delete this. so I don't think this is accurate information. The only clear information is that the Russian forces did indeed control Vyshina. Okay, so Vyshina, okay, not Vyshna. So yeah, Vyshina. The closed caption is going to translate that wrongly. So at fighting continues in the northern area of Kleinov, and Pokrovsky continues to hold for the Ukrainians. So the Russians didn't seem to have much progress in this front here. Not sure if it is deliberate, because there might be a possibility that they are holding up their push to allow the situation here to develop. That seems to be the situation a lot of the time in this war. So moving all the way up to all this area at Yakovlivka, Bilohorivka, and Berestov, situation is unchanged. Ukrainians continue to hold all this position. There is no news on Hierne. No news here. So situation here continues to be very stagnant. So you can see this cow, you see, with a horn and this weird mouth. Yeah, this looks like a cow head to me. Moo. Okay, anyway, moving on to Luhansk Front, which is slightly coming into the Donetsk area. So at the Luhansk Front, there is absolutely no change in terms of the situation. So if I overlap the previous summary, you can see that the entire front line is unchanged. The main fighting is still remains in the exact same locations. Of course, if they did move, we wouldn't know, because no reports came out, no intel on all this situation. Fighting continues on the western side of the oil refinery, all the way up to Verkhan-Okamyamske. Yamske, correct. And then so the fighting continues in this area, which means this entire road is very, very unusable now. Similar situation here. The report still remains that the Russians have captured partial portion of this oil refinery, and Topolivka is under Russian control. And fighting is now at Maloryazantseve, as well as at the rubber at this area of the glass factory, as well as at the rubber factory area. So they are still fighting in this area. There is no mention of the capture of any of these industrial facilities. And there is some rumors about the counter offensive at Bilohora, but it's very vague. On the south of Verkhovyarivka, or probably around this region, they say it's around 3 kilometers. 3 kilometers probably is around this area. I don't think it's in the northern side. Southern side probably will be more vulnerable. Foreign fighters in 3 different groups tried to maybe they are doing some recon, or maybe they're trying to do sabotage, and they actually entered 3 kilometers away from Vovchorivka, probably around this area, and then they got engaged by the Russian forces. So this force, the first group was multinational. The second group is Georgian Legion, and then this Georgian Legion is very interesting because they are the ones that did one of these gruesome videos that they killed all the POWs. So this Georgian Legion was totally destroyed. I think, and then all these small groups of forces is all totally demilitarized, if what the Russians like to say. And there are some rumors that some of these foreign fighters are captured. I think around 10. So I'm not sure what's the situation. So because the information is a bit vague, like I didn't really indicate on the map. So I just want to talk about it because it seems to be being propagated rather prominently I think the Defense Ministry of Russia did mention that. So, but it's not on the strategic picture. To be honest, it's unimportant. To me, the foreign fighters is just another group of soldiers. It's nothing special about them. Just that they don't speak Ukrainian. There is some rumors talking about fighting at the stadium, the Shakhtar Stadium here, which is ridiculous. So far away from the front. This rumor was not able to be corroborated by other analysts or OSIN peeps. They didn't see any more information about that because even the pro-Russian sources never mentioned that. The pro-Russian sources only mentioned fighting on the western and southern outskirts of Lysychansk. It's unlikely that the Russian forces are able to penetrate all the way deep into Lysychansk itself. I think that is unlikely to be true. The Russian forces have finished clearing out Borisky, and I think possibly also the Azot plant. So there is no mention about Pavlograd or Lisna Dacha. I do not know what is the actual situation around this area, which I do not dare to put it under Russian control because I don't think they have time to clear the forest here. So I think it's more conservative to just leave it empty for now. And moving on to the northern side of this Luhansk front, the Russian forces actually did a crossing across the Siverskyi Donetsk River. So they had a pontoon crossing, or in DPA terminology we call it tampon crossing. They had some tampons here, and then they managed to have a bridgehead of a small group of forces, and reportedly they are now pushing for Pryvillya. And information a few weeks ago, I mentioned that Pryvillya was under heavy bombardment by the Russians, so bad that the Ukrainian forces actually withdrew from Pryvillya towards Novodruzhsk and or Shapilivka. So they have evacuated this town based on the last information we have of this town, which is weeks ago. And based on the latest intel from the pro-Russian sources, is that this city is this town here is undefended. The Ukrainians have already evacuated this area. So we will know probably in a day or two whether the Russians actually captured Pryvillya. Should they capture, that will actually corroborate the information that the Ukrainian forces has already evacuated this town to probably Novodruzhsk or Shapilivka. So this also corroborates my assessment that there might be a river crossing to close the front. Just that I predicted to be around Bilohorivka. End up they will go all the way up north at Pryvillya. But I will still maintain that there is a high possibility that the Russians will actually try to cross along this river here, because that will help to speed up the closing of the encirclement. So, but the problem, the thing about this crossing is that they must have a strong crossing, and they must join up with the forces in the south so that they can resupply themselves. If they do not, if their tampon crossings or pontoon crossings got all destroyed, then they will be stranded and they themselves get encircled. That will be kind of stupid. So that's my assessment. I think that will still happen, but by this moment they fulfilled what I did say, so I kind of like a half correct that they actually did a crossing across the river, and now they are going for Pryvillya. Moving on to the Izyum Front. At the Izyum Front, no updates. Actually, everything remains the same. It feels like the Russians are feeling very, very happy with whatever they have now. They are not pushing. However, where they are pushing, further up north here, there is fighting reported by the Ukraine Ministry of Defense that there is fighting reported in the direction of Dovgalivka and Zalivman. And it's actually this Dohalivka and Zaliman, this direction, this area. And then it got corroborated by pro-Russian analysts that there is this attempt by the Russian forces to actually push in this direction. These two towns is listed as under Russian control on the on DPA. So I don't think these are Ukrainian control. And they are now and reportedly probably going to push south toward Shepil. And my analysis is that, my opinion, okay, is that the Russians had enough of this recon and saboteur attacks from this forested area. I think the Russians had enough. I think they feel that they need to do something to stop this mosquito that is constantly flying around and biting the Russians. They want to stop it for once and for all. So to destroy this mosquito, this Izyum mosquito, I assess that the likelihood is that they will attack in this direction, and they will actually encircle the entire forest area. So they'll actually attack Shepil, go south, take Protopalivka, take Zaporizhzhia, take Pryvillya. In fact, they will actually even push south, likely to take Khrushchev and link up with the forces that is attacking Velika Komishubakha, and to totally secure this entire forested area, to prevent the Ukrainians from continued usage of this forest to actually harass the supply line at the Izyum side. Because if they do not clear out this area, the offensive around this area will be handicapped. I think this is why this is happening, and this is actually contradicting what the Ukrainians originally planned to do, which is to attack Bakhmut. So instead of this Ukrainian offensive on Bakhmut, we had the Russian offensive coming near Bakhmut towards the Ukrainian positions. So let's see how this develop. Who knows? The Ukrainian defenses are too strong. The Russians cannot push out at all. That is also very likely. So let's watch. We have nothing at Bakhmut. Moving on to the Kharkiv Front. At the Kharkiv Front, we have nothing too. They have nothing to. Situation remains more or less the same. Pitomny continues to be Ukrainian control. The Russians still did not manage to have a breakthrough. There is also fighting at the upper Saltiv, which is Siverskyi Saltiv. Here. Otherwise, there's really nothing. There's really nothing's happening. I think the Russians are very satisfied with this line of defense. So they are holding this line compared to the previous line they used to hold at the Hachi Sukuni Lisne area. So now they are holding this line, and this line is actually pretty efficient for the Russians, because it actually extend the logistic line, the supply line of the Ukrainians by a lot more than when they are actually much nearer to Kharkiv. So now, resupply from any forces they want to move from Udi all the way to Stary Saltiv, they have to go one massive big round. Perhaps like a 80 kilometers, 90 kilometers drive or more. It's really very inconvenient for the Ukrainian forces to resupply and move troops around here. As you can see, it's a spider web. Not really a spider web. What is this? Like I don't know, jellyfish. So the head of the jellyfish or the octopus. So you have one tentacle here, 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 and they don't really link up at all between the tentacles. So every move you have to move down all the way to this highway around Kharkiv, this circular highway, to move to the other side. So for the Russians, because they have their homeland, they are very happy to drag out the Ukrainian forces and make resupply a living hell. So I think that's all. Not a lot of things have happened, right? I believe this is something that we have been observing throughout this entire conflict. That the Russians tends to have a lot of success, a lot of progress, like what we have here, and then after a few days of great success, then after that they will actually pause for a few days, probably to let the resupply convoys to catch up, and then build new forward operating bases where they can actually do resupply before they start another push, which also may also coincide with rotation of troops, which is also possibly why, because of the rotation, they cannot do an offensive. They have to do briefings, the handovers. That might also be happening. So now we are now seeing this lull period for at least 2-3 days. So this is probably already the second day, I guess, of this lull period. Probably in another 1 or 2 days we might actually see more progress again. But of course, this is just my own speculation. That's not reality. Nothing I say is reality. Everything I say is just speculation and a hearsay. Information you get from me is probably fifth or sixth hand. So enjoy other people's saliva. Anyway, yeah, that's all for this summary of the day of 124 and 125, and for the 27th and 28th of June. And please, if you haven't pressed the like button, now is a very good time to press it. Give it some good caress. It will feel so good if you press the like button. And of course, for the 50% of you who never press the subscribe button, please press the subscribe button. Okay, thank you, and I'll see you in the next update.